Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're interested in vocal technique, if you're interested in my journey, feel free to pick up my ebook called Becoming a Natural Singer, linked in the description. So I want to talk about balancing the two forces of learning, which are learning new things and refinement. We spoke about these before recently. The plague that infects the voice coaching community and many voice coaches, especially the male voice coaches, is learning new things, learning new tricks, learning more power, learning more range. There is a bias in the voice coaching community towards this particular part of learning. It's tangible. We spoke about it recently. It's something measurable. Refinement isn't. It's more vague. It's harder to notice. It's harder to value. The problem we have is that natural singers value refinement over tricks. Struggling singers value tricks over refinement. Now, we do actually need both. We need a good measure of both. If we lack range, we need to figure out, well, how do I get higher without pushing? Yeah, this is something that is necessary. If we can't connect the chords with confidence, we need to figure out how do I bring those chords together throughout my range? How do I connect them gently? How do I connect them more fully or more firmly throughout the range? These are things we need to learn. How do I keep the larynx stable? These are things we need to learn. Now, when we learn these tricks, when we learn these skills, typically for struggling singers, they will be learnt relatively crudely at first. This is why many coaches out there will advocate for a lot of closure taken through the bridge, just to get you through there, to make you feel like, okay, this is how I navigate through my range without loads of outer tension. This is necessary work. Once we've got the cruder mechanics in place though, once we've got something that's tangible and real, we can now get through our bridge, we can get high without reaching. We then kind of need to flip. We need to say, and we need to prioritize this concept of it's not what I do, it's how well I do it. And this is a big shift for a learning singer, because we spend a lot of time working at getting through that bridge, working at getting the skill sets together, working at getting rid of outer tension, working at all that good stuff. And then there is a switch that needs to take place where we start to think, okay, how well am I doing this? How smoothly am I doing this? How easily am I doing this? And we go through a process of refinement of the skills. Depending on what stage you're at with the learning process, you're going to lean more in one direction or the other with these two factors. If you're at the beginning of the process, you've got very limited range, loads of outer tension, you're going to lean more towards developing new stuff, developing skills. Crudely or not, you just need to somehow figure out how the hell do I get there. If you are leaning more towards, well, I've kind of got this under control, I can do kind of everything I want to do in terms of measurable results, but it just doesn't sound that good. It sounds off, it sounds tense, it sounds just inaccurate. You need to be leaning more towards the refinement side. Now, obviously, where I'm at with my journey at the moment, I'm tending to push on that some. I'm tending to say, this is valuable. You've got to think about, how good do I do this? How well do I do this? As well as, what can I do? But I'm leaning more towards that side at the moment because of where I'm at with my journey. But I wanted to cover this so that if you are a struggling singer, where I'm at doesn't matter. It's where you're at that matters. So if you're at a stage where you're really struggling just to get off the ground, really don't worry too much about how well you can do this at the minute. Worry about just getting some objective results, getting through your bridge, understanding how to connect the chords consistently through your range. Yes, you're going to develop it in a crude way at first, but it's necessary to get that crude coordination to give you something to refine. Without the tricks and the crude coordination, we have nothing to transition over with. Yeah, you can't refine no coordination at all. So my job as a coach when I'm working with a student is often to figure out where are they at with this balancing act? Do they need to learn more skills? Do they need to work at what they're doing? Or do they have something pretty good already put together, and do they need to now work on more refinement, more smoothing out of the skills? That's the skill in being a coach, and that's something that I'm working on as we speak, something I'm developing, something that I'm thinking about. How do I serve my student best? How do I get to where they're at and give them the right lean, the right angle in terms of the next skill they need to figure out, the next step in their journey, the next little bit of refinement they need to get, versus just pushing out what I think is important. Because for me right now, what's important is refinement, getting better at the skills I've developed. But for a struggling singer who's just starting out, that's completely irrelevant to them. They need crude, fast skills that they can start measurably getting through their range and understanding what is it I need to do to coordinate the vocal folds. And that will start with crude coordinations. Lots of squeeze typically, and just get through there. Just muscle it, whatever you need to do just to feel, okay, that's what it's like to hold on to the vocal cords. Because frankly, most people when they begin, they don't know what it's like to hold on to the vocal cords. Whenever they feel anything in the throat, they're like, oh, that's tension, I'm pulling chest. No, it's not tension, you're not pulling chest. The number of times I have to say that to people because they've been told, unfortunately, you shouldn't feel anything in the throat. You know, you should feel just tension-free, open throat, all this stuff. It's very easy to interpret that type of information incorrectly when you're coming from a different context to somebody who's been singing all their life. To me, no tension and saying you need to sing without tension is a completely different concept to somebody who's got no coordination in their voice. Anyway, the long and short of it is this, guys. We have to find balance between learning new things, learning new stuff, new tricks, new skills, and refinement of those skills, sounding better. Depending on where you're at with your journey, you need to lean over to one side a bit more, maybe lean over to the other side a bit more. But you've got to figure out where you're at so that you can lean in the right direction. Otherwise, you'll end up with a singer who's got loads of skills but sounds awful, or a singer who's got not much skill, not many tricks actually is a better way. They can't necessarily sing that high. They can't necessarily sing on different compression levels, but they do it very, very well. A singer like that does need to learn some new skills. A singer who is loads of skills, lots of range, lots of power, but nobody wants to listen to them. They need to lean over in the direction of refinement. So just some ideas that I think are important to think about and consider when thinking about how do I get better at this? What direction do I need to go to start figuring more of this out? It will vary from person to person. You've got to find balance and you've got to lean in the right direction. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I'll catch you next week. I upload on Tuesdays, more vocal technique every week. Take care. Bye-bye.